Thank you to all the folks out there in YouTube land. You back? Okay, we're going to actually start with our committees, and we'll start with personnel. Mr. Canini.
This time of year, it's normal stuff, except for a couple of retirements. April McLean after 26 years, and Lindsay Fitzgerald, 16 years. Thank them for their service. And we are also appointing a new assistant principal, Amy Carolla. Did I get it right? Okay, good. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome.
That's all. That's all for me. My direct question.
Joining our team.
Thank you.
Super excited.
Yeah, and hanging out with us for the night, so that
They swear that this is very.
rare.
Normal.
I try to keep it short. Mr. Ward doesn't.
So just, I'll wait for you to say that,
By consent. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Canini? So by consent, that carries. Mr. Ward?
so welcome and congratulations. If you haven't had a chance to look at Amy's credentials, she's coming here from Berlin as an assistant principal over there. She actually resides in Queensbury, so she's very much looking forward to being a part of Tiger Town. So welcome to her, and you got your teammates sitting right next to you, so congratulations. And welcome aboard.
We had a lot.
We had a lot of time to talk out there, but welcome aboard.
I know where to go hang out.
Awesome.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm very excited to join the team.
And so I'll say this piece too. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's good.
We know that you have to go to Berlin tomorrow, and you've hung out for a while. This board will not take offense
No, not
if
at
you
all.
leave now so you can go home because you like to be in Berlin at 5 a.m. or whatever you do. And same thing.
Yeah,
You're good.
6:15 comes early, yeah.
Yes, you're good.
Yes. Thanks to both of you
Thank you, I appreciate
for
it.
hanging out. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Have a great night.
Have a great day tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks.
Okay, that moves us to athletics. Mr. Fitzgerald.
All right, we didn't have a meeting, but we have a couple quick updates, just achievements really. Jesse Mullis placed third at the state wrestling tournament.
Wow.
His brother Justin placed fifth, so great job by both of those young men. Competitive cheer won the Foothills Championship. Another great year for our cheer team. The Adirondack United Girls Ice Hockey Team won the championship for that. The whole team was actually recognized at the Capitol last week with our senator and assembly members. And then I had one other thing I just wanted to bring up quick. So if anybody's not familiar, our junior wrestling program is huge. A lot of kids coming out to that, but we had a lot of kids that just did something amazing. We had Kason Pratt, 50 pounds, second place at the junior state tournament, basically. Peyton Humiston for the girls, 62 pounds, second place for the states. Camden Foster, 47 pounds, third place at states. And then we had a handful of other qualifiers, including Jacob Hammond, Lucas Schuyler, Aiden Humiston Frazier, Colton Harrington, Jamison Carlton, and Hunter Dickinson. So wrestling program's looking strong for years to come.
Awesome. That's great. Any questions? Okay. That moves us to audit.
Nope.
Mr. Mulvey.
So I'd love to say we're gonna keep this short, but there's a lot of audit stuff. So treasurer's report, we'll just start with that, and that is quick. Sorry, I have a lot of papers here. Okay, so this is the treasurer's report for the month of January. In the general fund, we had 6.7 million in receipts, mostly aids coming in, and 5.5 million in disbursements, leaving us a balance in the general fund of 4.9 million, and a total cash on hand of 9.4 million. The extracurricular account balances will be in for next month. Those aren't done yet, but we'll put them for approval next month. There is a budget transfer in there for, is this right? It was for only $204. Is that right? That was a budget transfer. Okay, so that's definitely under our threshold, just informational purposes. The appropriation status report is also in your board docs, as well as monthly bills, if anyone has any questions on those. Kevin, do you wanna talk to budget update?
Sure.
Or do you, should we do that, or?
I'll start with, you want me to jump in with
Let them
the
do their piece.
substitute teacher pay increases?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Yeah, we can jump around. That's fine.
Okay. So, we're gonna have multiple things that we're looking for action on tonight. We are part of SASTA, which is the Substitute Teacher Association, or obviously having subs come in. We are looking to increase, and it's basically about a $5 increase to the rates, because right now, when you look at the non-certified teacher, when you break out the hourly rate, it's actually below minimum wage. So we wanna move that up. That gets us in the range with several other school districts. And then also, we wanna move that certified rate up, to keep it the same difference between the two positions. So that's why we're looking at 101, and 106 for 25+ days, and 127 and 132 for 25+ days. So we'll be looking for a resolution on that. Want me to keep rolling?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Got this.
Cooperative purchasing bid, basically what this is through BOCES, we're able to purchase custodial supplies. And what we do is we team up with other school districts, which creates a higher buying power. What this does is the board is just saying, gives us permission to join the bids. So we will give them breakdowns on all the different items and what we would be looking to buy. They will bid them, and then we can purchase them through BOCES, which generally will get us a much reduced rate on items. So that'll allow us to join that. There's also 2 legal ads. This is for the budget. We've been talking a lot about legal ads lately, so this is for the budget, and basically, we need to get the approval from the board to move forward with these 2 legal ads, because they have to go out within the next week or 2, so that we meet the deadline, which they have to be in the newspapers at least 45 days, between 45 and 49 days prior to the budget vote. And the tricky one is the weekly one. Chronicle. So basically, one legal ad is date, time, location of our school budget vote. And the other one is for doing bus purchases. We are looking at 3 buses. We're looking at 1 66 passenger and 2 30 passengers with wheelchair bus. After speaking to Aaron, that's what it looks like we need them to be. They're gonna be gasoline buses. We are not doing anything with electric at this point in time, as we'll talk about in a little while. But it's not to exceed $425,000, which is standard. We've been a little bit higher than that the past couple of years. That's all we need to do the 3 buses this year. Did I forget anything? Corrective action plan. We've already approved the corrective action plan from our external audit, but it's just noted that there were a couple different items involving compensated balances, budget transfers, and interfund activity. It wasn't listed in the findings. It was listed different places in the audit. So basically what we have to do, all of these have already been corrected, but we just have to make a formal corrective action plan to send to the state and do that. So you can see that basically all these things have already been set, and we just need to get your approval so that we can submit it on the portal and be done with the external audit. So
RFP for painting.
what's that?
The RFP for painting.
Yep. We have one last item. We did, through the federal money that we received, we budgeted for painting the school, inside the school buildings, as you see in the high school. We put an RFP out to do the rest of the schools. We have until September until that money goes away or needs to be spent. So we put out an RFP for painting the remaining, all the remaining other district buildings. We did get 2 responses, and the low bidder was AJ Catalfamo Construction Company. So we'll be doing a resolution to approve AJ Catalfamo Construction to move forward with the painting of the district buildings.
Kevin, could you just quickly talk to budget and where we're at, and as far as the state approving budget and timing wise, and whether we'll have all that?
So right now, we've had some discussions at audit. We've gone through the revenue piece and also the expenditure piece. And we've taken into account, what positions we may need and which ones we may not. I've been talking this whole time with that off. And also, the most up-to-date information we've had on revenue. So at this point in time, we've got the balance, the budget, so it balances, but we need to wait at this point in time to see exactly where that revenue figure is coming in. It's kind of a unique year because we're hearing different, depending on the different group that you discuss with, you're hearing different information on where that's going to end up. We did address some issues that we have in the budget. And we actually spoke a little bit more today about some of them. We do have some increased costs in special education. But we have been at this point in time to be able to get to a balance point. And then for the April audit meeting, we'll be able to really tie the remainder of the budget together because we'll have a better idea on where the revenue is going to be. Hopefully there's an on-time budget for us. That'll make it much clearer, but we'll have a better idea where that is, which will also allow us with some of the expenses that we're kind of holding to see if we can incorporate those or not into the budget. So right now it's a sliding scale. We've got it even, but it'll be a sliding scale moving forward as more information comes out.
Just real quick on top of budget, so at your seats, you should have printed out an email that has the Senate and one House budgets, some items of interest for school districts, a lot that you heard about in the advocacy realm. So just wanted to share, those came out today, or maybe it was later last night, so that's relatively hot off the presses. We'll see where the negotiations go between the one House budgets that have been submitted in the governor's office, but they're asking for several of the things that we have asked for as an advocacy group that would support us. One for me to pick out quickly is the rejection of the change to the inflation calculation, because that's the one that negatively affected our school district. So it would be advantageous for us if that ends up in the final budget. And you can see the rest. I don't need to read them to you all, and we can talk about that more as things move forward at the Capitol.
Does anybody have any questions for Crystal or Kevin? We do have a handful of resolutions, so be it resolved, the Board of Education of Hudson Falls Central School District authorizes participation in the cooperative purchasing program coordinated by Wishwe County BOCES for bids awarded in the 2024-25 school year.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of Hudson Falls Central School District approves the legal ad for the 2024-2025 budget vote. Have a motion? So moved. Mike, seconded by Amanda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the substitute teacher rate increase as Kevin indicated. So moved by Megan, seconded by
Second.
Crystal. All in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the corrective action plan from the external audit done by MMB and Co. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Crystal, second Heidi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yep. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District are hereby authorized to award the district-wide painting bid to the AJ Catalfamo Construction Company in the amount of $168,850. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Crystal, seconded by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Just need a motion to approve the January treasury report. By Amanda, seconded by
Second.
Crystal. All in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Excellent.
Did we miss?
I'm going to do that in mine.
Oh, you're right. Yep, sorry.
That's right. No, she pointed that out. Okay. So that concludes the audit. We'll move to transportation. Dr. Steele?
All right. You read the DOT report, or you guys had a chance this afternoon. Same with the trip report. Workforce, always have mentioned, we have a couple of monitors, attendants still training to complete their road test before spring, hopefully. We have 2 new hires that are starting for their CDL manuals, going for their permits soon. Talked last month about a bus being out. We are getting one of our propane bus buses back. We have a diesel bus out and a propane bus out that are currently being fixed. And then fuel prices at the bottom of the report there as usual, and an update on electric school buses from Kevin.
So here's where we're at with the electric school buses. The district has signed a contract with Cornish Technology and SEI Design. SEI Design are architects, so down the road, if we have to do any improvements to our bus garage, they're gonna help with anything that we have to do basically with structure there. Whereas Cornish, they're the experts, they're doing all the calculations, energy use, that type of thing, for the different types of chargers and everything that we may have to have. So the following items have been completed. The power usage information from National Grid for the amount of power needed. One of the big things is how much power you can actually pull from the pole coming in and how much power we're gonna draw for those charging and whether basically the street can meet it. So we've done all those calculations, those are off the National Grid. And then the fleet status reports, the number and sizes of all of our buses, miles traveled per trip and daily, types of route, you know, if it's a country or city route, hilly or not, amount of time each bus is used and downtime for charging, and the physical plant layout itself. Because that's one of the things that's coming up is these buses will, according to their plan, will have to actually be charged in between routes and when they're not in run. So they have all the information on the times and mileages that they're traveling. The application for funding from NYSERDA has been filed with Cornish Technologies for approval for funding. We're waiting to hear back from them, but because of our poverty level, they feel that we will get a rather substantial amount because we'll actually be kicked from one class to the next, which is kind of a priority. We've met with the local legislator to discuss potential issues with the electric buses, you know, timing, routes, safety, layout of facilities, power outages, things like that can come up. We have met with them, and we've had multiple meetings with Cornish and SEI Designs just to continue moving forward with potential layout and charging stations and housing and how those would be designed on our property and where they can go. So we have been meeting a lot with them. We are moving forward. Again, we're also watching what's happening at the legislative level to see where this goes, but we are pushing forward like we do have to start at that 2027 date.
Anybody have any questions? A lot to take in.
Do we have any, have we seen any manuals or brochures on these buses about,
Not yet.
when, you know, pricing and things of that nature?
We got some estimates on pricing, and the first estimate that I got was about 360,000 for 66.
Which is, that we have, how many of those do you think?
Oh, we've got probably 20 to 22 of those. Yep.
And we're saying that the two one-house budgets both address zero emissions in different ways. So that's going to be a topic that you're going to hear more about over the next 6 weeks while the budget is being negotiated.
So this zero emission school bus agency leadership level working group, that's gonna be like an asset for school districts to try to figure out how to
We've
fit this
asked,
all together.
yeah, asked for a seat at the table to develop a better plan for implementation. Or maybe I'll say different, I'll say better, a different plan for implementation.
Do you have any questions for Dr. Steele? Okay, that concludes transportation. On to
Can I
buildings.
interrupt before we go to policy?
We're going to buildings and grounds right now.
Or before we go to buildings and grounds, can we do the BOCES thing?
I'm gonna do that.
We got,
Gorgeous.
we got a special plan.
We got a plan. We got a plan.
Love it.
Sheet cake. Okay, that moves us to buildings and grounds. Mrs. Burling.
So the update from buildings and grounds, obviously we had the meeting earlier this evening, and we had another meeting last week on Monday or Tuesday?
It was Wednesday last week.
Wednesday, I don't know.
Wednesday and then Tuesday this week.
Meetings.
Yep.
So, and presentation for the public, opportunity for feedback, and, yeah. don't have much else to add, I guess.
Appreciate it. I don't know if the board needs or would like to have any discussion about any of the comments that were heard. Obviously, there was one comment made about reconsidering the project. I just want to make sure I said it out loud during our regular board meeting. As I would with any other session that we had, I would bring it back to you folks. I know that you were all in the room and heard it, but I wanted to make sure I brought it out.
I have, I guess, a question kind of related to some of the commentary. Didn't we, in that building condition, at some point there, we received a presentation that kind of outlined and categorized those things that were basically, whether they were safety or just like maintenance of facilities, like, we had that information, and if I remember correctly, the lower budget that was offered to us didn't even cover, like, the lower level projects that we talked about didn't even cover any, like, all of that stuff. Not to mention some of those other items that are, kind of go to the Tiger Pride thing and that the community likes to see and enjoy. So, is there any reason to review that or to provide that information? I mean, that was a public session too in one of our regular board meetings.
Right. So I'm going to push to Vince and Amanda.
Megan.
Megan. Long day, my apologies. And let them speak, but yeah, we went through that, and we did also, one of the speaking points when we were talking in buildings and grounds, and then I will stop talking, I promise, was balancing pipes and wires with things that are forward-facing, that you said it very nicely, that the community and the kids enjoy. That was we talked about that. Do we do a project with just pipes and wires? Is that what the community really wants?
Project of pipes and wires, if I remember correctly, but.
Yeah. So I'll turn it over to either one. And again,
Yeah, so that, we went, there was a lot of time spent, there was some commentary tonight about go back to the drawing board and, really look through this stuff. And I, as a board member, I'm not going to go through all those things. My job is to trust the people that are in charge of buildings and grounds and the people that we are hiring to do these reports, that they're giving us the information that says, okay, this is what our priorities are, right? And, they gave us all that information. They said, basically the $100 million, a good portion of that all in was just basic maintenance things that have not been kept up as much over the years, and of course, like you said, we tried to balance that with how much of that can we get accomplished for the least tax impact, which I think, for a $250,000 house, was it?
$200,000,
$200,000, $47 a year. Nobody likes tax increases at all, right? We all have to pay, but I also know as an owner of business assets that you have to keep up with these assets. You can't allow them to depreciate, and it takes investment and it takes commitment from the community. And so in order for the community to commit to us, and saying, yep, you can do the pipes and wires and all those necessary things, we also have to do things for the students that they're going to see it. They're going to feel good when they walk in here. And I do think that makes a difference. Back when we were doing an expansion on my family's farm where we are, we had a consultant that said to us, there's the excitement factor, and don't be surprised by that. People will they'll stop by. Do you have job openings? Do you have, there's the excitement factor of a new project and fresh, and, I do think that it probably contributes to student output as well, So it's not just frivolous, and it wasn't lightly considered, any of it. We had, I don't know how many meetings, Vince, we had a lot. And so also we have to trust the people on the ground that are telling us this is what needs to be done.
Appreciate it.
That's what needs to be done.
So based on the conclusion of, the statements made tonight, that you guys still recommend for the board to follow through with the proposal?
I would definitely.
Okay.
We have looked at it, we pared it back from 110 if you really want to go to the extreme. And I think the problem is we haven't continued with the projects all along.
Sure. I agree.
So I think this is the best bet. I really do. It's an investment into the children.
Exactly.
And that's how we have to do it.
Exactly.
I remember when I was here, and I'm sure some of you were here, we had no heat in the hall at the high school. that was built that way. It was built as a summer campus with all the exterior walls being glass at one time.
Yes.
So that was one of the biggest pushes that we did with one of those projects. And the reason it went 2005, 2006 is because we couldn't get everything in that first project. And the board at the time said, no, we're not going any higher, which was a mistake, because when you went back out, you paid more, even in 1 year, than if you would have done it right.
Exactly.
So we'll put it out,
Okay. To vote, March 27th, right? Excellent. Any other questions for buildings and grounds? Okay. That moves us to policy.
we're gonna do the,
Oh, we do have the one, okay?
Yeah, just one. Every year we do this, the
Yep,
pesticide.
so, regarding pesticide approval, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the 2024 pesticide application and lawn program submitted by Dave McKeegan. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Crystal, seconded by Heidi, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. That concludes building and grounds. Let's move to policy. Mrs. Glassman.
Policy committee did meet this month, however, I needed to leave before the meeting commenced, so I'm gonna pass it over to Mr. DiCaprio to talk about the things that were discussed.
Thank you. This is the time of the year when we do our policy audit. Our policy service sends us a two-page list of policies that either we have to catch up on or we need to review because of changes in laws, regulations, rules, etc. This year there were 16 policies on that audit. 5 of them we are ahead on. 5 of them you have already done your first, your second, your approvals. They are all set. 5 of them are going to take the internal team a little bit more time. It'll require some work on the principal's part, some work on Ryan's part, some work on Kev and Dave's part. So there's a handful, 5, that will come to you for a first read at a later time. That leaves 6 for your first read this month. And we have 5140, which removes one paragraph of language. There used to be a law that said Kevin's office has to report financing building by building, which is a conversation in itself, but a difficulty for the district. That law was removed, that law is sunset, so that paragraph comes out of that policy. That's all that one is. 6130 doesn't change any of the intent of the policy. It changes some of the language around the titles and the wording of it. State Ed is not using the language APPR so consistently anymore. They've moved to calling it educator evaluation. So this policy just adds that language there. It makes it more consistent with the direction of SED. 7350 is repetitive. You already did this one, but it was under a different policy number. It was policy 7618. Policy service is moving things around. So it's the same policy as 7618. That's the timeout rooms, the restraints, all of that language that you worked through last year. It moves over to 7350. Jumping ahead there, so that means 7618 can be deleted. So on there for first read is a deletion of 7618 because it all moved to 7350. 7512 adds language around all students being screened for lead when they register. Caught up with Jody Boucher. This is something we do already. The question came from the policy committee, do we actually do the pinprick blood test? No, we don't. It's just an affirmation, yes or no, have they been tested for lead? So that's already covered. We're already doing that as a matter of procedure. And the last one on that next page is 7670. This is related to impartial hearings for parents who want to have a different hearing or a different outcome from the Committee on Special Education. Really what I said to the policy committee is this mostly broadly applies to New York City. New York City is hundreds, if not thousands, of impartial hearings behind. And this allows for a lever for parents to say, if the district has not hired an impartial hearing officer after 6 months, then parents can hit the easy button and accelerate the process. In my time here, we've had one request for an impartial hearing officer, and we were in the portal and requested it within 2 or 3 days. So those are your 6 for first read this month. Glad to take any questions.
Any questions? That concludes the policy committee, and now we're on to advocacy.
So for advocacy this month, we just have the ASBA dinner, which is coming up next Thursday. Crystal's gonna join Dan from the advocacy committee and report back to us the following meeting. And the topic is advocacy and budget, so it'll be a good one.
I think I sent you an email on that. I wonder if you didn't get it. Can you register, because you need to register me for that.
Yeah, I need to register the answer, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Good work.
That and all of Dan's advocacy, that's all I have for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've heard my pieces.
So I'm gonna jump back real quick. We just need a resolution for our wonderful Mrs. Heidi Andrikovics to run for the BOCES School Board of Education. So be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District nominates Heidi Andrikovics to run for the Wishwe BOCES Board of Education in the April 23rd, 2024 election. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved Amanda, seconded by Mike. All in favor?
And I have to
Opposed?
abstain, I think, right? Can't vote for myself.
Yeah. I want they can.
Let's just abstain.
Yeah.
We'll just be clean.
I got it.
She opposes herself.
Yep. That's right, not doing it, right?
Excellent. So that moves us on to Mr. Ward's superintendent report.
Yep, so I have a bullet list, and I'll be brief. So you guys have had the infographic for the strategic plan for maybe the last 3 weeks. You've had it on your updates. Just looking for that to be formally adopted tonight so we can use that as the framework of our work moving forward. So that's a formality, I think, because I haven't received any feedback, ask any more questions about it since the first time I sent it out. We've been through the capital project, but I'll say it again for the meeting. The capital project vote, March 27th, noon to 8 p.m. in the gymnasium. For anybody watching from home, everybody in the room has heard it a few times. At your seats, I think, do they have copies of the course catalog? Yes. Can you bring those up?
Yep.
So you can see that's year 2 of that. A lot of work by the counselors, the public relations teams, and Mike. So I want to give credit where credit is due. That's a very professional document we're getting out to our students that puts all that information in one place. It's not something that I don't think had ever occurred here before last year. So I thank people for the work on that, and we are working on some similar documents over the next couple of years for our extracurriculars and possibly athletics. So those are next. And special ed. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. So we're trying to. That's a great resource for a parent when you're new to the school, and even if you're not new to the school, when you're moving from the middle school up, to have that all in one spot. So thanks to them.
And how are they distributed again? Remind me.
Yeah, we make sure that this is ready to go and printed so that the counselors have it when they do 8th grade moving up night in March. So anybody who attends that, they're the first ones to get it. And I believe this one also has in the back, there's that worksheet, so anytime we have a new student or anytime students moving along, there's the built-in worksheet. How do you want to chart your path through the school?
Trying to use it as a tool. Yeah. Rural Schools Conference, I sent that out. I haven't heard back from anybody that's able to go. I just kind of last call, July 14th to 16th, and that's okay if we don't, but it's come up in a few conversations over the last couple of years. I get that it's tough to commit to that time. But hearing from no one, I will say that we're not in attendance at that one this year. ASBA, Heidi nailed that already. DSDMT plan, Megan can speak to that if she'd like to, but you're seeing the culmination of 3 meetings of that group and some work last year to bring that plan to you with some updates. I recommend that you approve it. I don't know if you want to speak to that too. Did I just call you Amanda again?
No, I don't.
All right, Megan.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll answer to
I'm
anything at this point. So the DSDMT, I don't know how many years. I started originally as parent rep on the committee, and So they put together a document that kind of organizes the whole process of who owns what and how you can contribute to the school through that. And I really like it because it's pulling parents, it's pulling administrators, it's pulling teachers, and putting everybody on a level playing field to talk about these issues, to bring the school forward. And so for me, anytime we have more people involved, like this evening, having people here with feedback, I think that's wonderful. And so I've really enjoyed being part of DSCMT, and I know they worked very hard on the document, getting it up to snuff. They kind of completely reworked it, and yeah, it's exciting. I think they spent a lot of time.
For sure. It's been a priority. So you have that, which there'll be a motion to approve that there, and I'll keep rolling, unless there's questions about that. Sorry, I'm not giving.
Where will that be distributed?
So-
Or what is that for, like the?
Yeah, so everybody, it also has support staff, aides, and assistants, so all employees will have access to it. That's distributed electronically. We manage that electronically, once
And
you
then-
guys approve it.
So you would receive it as a parent if you were.
If you're part of the
if you're
team.
part of the team.
Yeah, correct. Other questions on that one? Culture Fair, just want to make sure you guys know that's a great thing. March 15th, which is this Friday, right? This Friday from 6 to 8:30 right here at the high school. That thing was mobbed last year. I'm hoping that it's mobbed again this year. The kids do a great job, and so do our teachers in organizing that with the students. So if you're able to come out, don't miss it. Drama production, we talked about that a few times. Coming up March 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Tickets are available, and the dates and the links are posted on our website. So please get out to see one of those shows. The kids are very excited to perform for everybody. So it'll be a great night. And then lastly, I had the solar eclipse on there. Some conversations have been occurring locally for the last couple of months with this coming up. As you may or may not, I'm sure everybody knows, April 8th, which is the Monday after spring break, there'll be a total solar eclipse, not from our latitude, but from latitudes north of us, and there'll be a partial eclipse from our latitude. Going to happen somewhere between 2:30 and 3:45. I just don't have it committed to memory exactly when. Conversations about should we have school, should we not have school, for a myriad of reasons. One, because maybe it would be great for families to have that time to observe that and talk about that together. One, because is there safety concerns about kids looking at the sun, and everything in between here and there. My recommendation is that we have school, and I did talk with the principals this morning about it, that we have school. Willing to say that if we have a family who wants to have their kid out, that I excuse it as an educational absence. Unless the board has a different thought, I'm open to a conversation and different thoughts. But we do plan to purchase the solar eclipse glasses. We'll place our order tomorrow, once we confirm tonight that there isn't an appetite to do something different around us. Many of the small schools in Washington County are closed. Whitehall is open. If you go that way, Queensbury is open, South Glens Falls is open, Fort Edward is open, and Glens Falls is open as of today. But Fort Ann's going to be closed, Hartford's going to be closed, Argyle's going to be closed. I'm just giving you what I can remember off the top of my head. And anybody really from North Warren north is closing for multiple reasons, because a lot of people are traveling to see this thing, and they are concerned about safety of operating buses and things like that. I worry about us closing school for an additional day after a break, because a lot of our kids rely on us for a lot of things. And that's why I think if a parent wants to spend that time with their child and take them out, then
So there won't be any penalties?
that we excuse it. That's my thought. That we excuse it as educational, and everybody else comes so they can have the opportunity to interact with our staff. I did talk with the principals about making sure we had something educational about eye safety and all that with the solar eclipse, and we'll get those glasses here so that they can take them with them. The concern about here is that it'll be overlapping with dismissal a little bit. We just make sure everybody's safe. But having 2,200 kids not come to school, I try to just think in my head about the math, how many of those will have an experience with their family talking about the eclipse, and I don't have any hard data, but I'm guessing that that would not be a large percentage of our students, for whatever reasons, parents working, whatever those reasons are. Nothing bad about those parents, it's just how life is. Or if we have them in the building, a lot of them can have some sort of experience that deals with this eclipse. Next one is, I don't know, 2087, or it's a ways away, so it's a big deal.
Are you canceling after school outdoor
Yep,
activities?
yep, so after school, right now, the conversation that's been had is that nothing until after 5 PM was the plan. It also coincides with the first, thank you for bringing it up, coincides with the first day of modified spring athletics. So that might mean that the modified spring athletics don't start until the next day, because sending those kids home and getting them all back here for 5 PM creates a hardship on a lot of families as well. But Ryan and I haven't had that final conversation yet, but definitely trying to make sure we don't have people out at baseball practice catching fly balls. Thank you for bringing it up, Brian, I appreciate it, or Dr. Steele. That's, did I miss anything, Cal?
No.
Oh, I do, VEX. Our VEX team competed in the state tournament, and Mike was there. Oh yeah, and you were, the kids did great, they had a great time, but I'll defer to the both of you because you were there and I was not. I was traveling to Syracuse to get my son. I got my first flat tire in probably 25 years on the thruway.
Of course.
So, you had a better day than me.
I did, yep. So I'll just give the numbers, but if you want to add on to that, please. I think it was 26 or 27 teams made the state tournament. It's the Northern New York version of the tournament. And when we talk about Northern New York, it is students from Niagara Falls are here. It's literally all of upper New York that get to compete in this one. Luckily this year we were here in Queensbury rather than traveling to Syracuse in the middle of winter again. Of 26 teams, only 16 make the finals, and our two Hudson Falls teams finished 5th and 7th overall.
Awesome.
Awesome. What an awesome showing for
This
year
is only
two.
our second year, right?
For year two, it's awesome.
Yeah, it was such a learning curve, I guess, for me, and just how, and I mean, I'm glad I missed the meeting when the kids came and presented about VEX and how all encompassing it is as far as just like life skills and, you know, really hits on the technology piece as well, which a lot of kids are interested in. So, yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to see them do so well. You know, and I would say shout out to Mrs. Samuelson too for what she does with those kids and,
for sure.
you know, and all the time she puts into it. I mean, she started with them like back in July and they've, you know, been meeting regularly since then. So it was a big commitment for her and the kids and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. So congratulations to them. That's fantastic. More good things to come. There'll be more good news about that group moving forward for sure. That's what I had.
Okay, we have two resolutions. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the strategic plan. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Amanda, seconded by Heidi. All in favor? Opposed? That carries. And lastly, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Hudson Falls Central School District approves the 2024 DSDMT plan. Do we have a motion? Megan, seconded by? Mike, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Okay, so that concludes our regular meeting for this month. Our next meeting is April 9th, correct?
Sounds good.
I believe so. Okay. So we just need a motion to adjourn. Amanda, seconded by Mike. All in favor? Opposed? You better not. Have a great evening.
I did not email you about that. Is it too late?
9:23.
Okay, I'm sorry.
9:23 and a half.
Are you interested in the advocacy ASBA meeting? If you're not, that's okay. I usually